I recorded a whole video. I played it back. There was no sound at all. So hopefully this one has some sound. Okay. Happy Thursday. This is me, Queen V. We are here. We've been talking about the kingdom of God concerning finances and giving. And the myth that a lot of us have been hearing is that, it's a sin to be wealthy and God's people are supposed to take a vow of poverty, and that is not true. And so how many people in the Bible were wealthy, especially in the Old Testament? I just want to go through some of the names. This is not going to be like an in-depth video. It's just giving some names of some people. And I want you to consider these people, that they love God, and God did not care about them having money. He wanted to bless them. Okay. So first of all, of course, we talked about Adam and Eve. They were in a position, they didn't need anything. There wasn't any bartering and anything going on with buying and selling at that time. Even though they had gold and stones in the garden, they didn't need it. Okay. Let's talk about Abraham. It says in Genesis chapter 13, Abraham was rich. No, it said he was very rich. And then it says in silver and cattle and in gold. Okay. So he was very rich. Lot, his nephew, was wealthy. They were so rich that their families couldn't live on the same land because they had too much stuff to hold both of them. So Abraham gave Lot a choice and said, "Hey, you choose where you want to go." He chose Gomorrah, so that's where he went. Okay, and then who else? You had Abraham, you had Isaac. Remember in Genesis chapter 26 when Isaac sold and he received in the same year 100-fold? He became very great. He became so wealthy that the people in where he was, they became envious. They became jealous, and they said, "You're going to have to get up out of our city," because he was just taking over. He had too much. So Isaac, of course, Jacob, and then Joseph. Okay, Joseph went from slavery to second in command. Okay, it was for a purpose. Okay, it was for a purpose, but he became second in command. How about Job? Job was very wealthy. Okay, and then the end of Job, it doubled what he had, because see, Satan tried to come in and take him, so that Job take the things that Job had, take his children, his possessions, because he said that if Job didn't have that stuff, he wouldn't be serving God. But guess what? Job still served God, even though his possessions and his family was taken. And the end of Job was doubled. Like he had double what he had before. Okay. And so he passed the test. Well, you passed the test. So that was Job. How about the Hebrews when they came out of slavery? So, when Joseph died, there rose a king that didn't know Joseph. So generation after generation had passed till Joseph was forgotten by the elites in Egypt. And so another king rose up that didn't know Joseph, okay? And he began to persecute the Hebrews. But you know what? When Moses was sent to deliver them, they came out wealthy because they borrowed all that stuff from the Egyptians. They weren't coming back. So it wasn't really borrowed. It was theirs. They got gold and everything. So they did not come out empty-handed. Okay. Who else? We talked about the Hebrews as they came out of Egypt. How about David? King David. How about his son Solomon? Solomon prayed to God for wisdom to lead his people. So there you are. He loved God, and God gave him the riches. Solomon was very blessed. Okay. How about Boaz? Boaz loved God, and he was wealthy, and he had people working for him. Okay. Ruth went from welfare to marrying wealthy Boaz who loved God. Okay. And then how about Esther? Esther was, kind of like a peasant girl. She was a Jew, and she was chosen to become queen with all the royalty and the wealth. Listen, how wealthy are you when you can have a party for 6 months and never run out? 6 months straight. 6 months straight. Can you have a party? Have you ever tried to plan even a birthday party for a child? You know how expensive that can get if you have children. Buying gifts, buying food, buying things for the other guests to play with, the other children, that can become expensive. That's just a little party for children. How about having an all-out adult party for how many days was it? 180 days, 6 months. That's what you call wealth. So Esther became a part of that, okay? How about Ruth and Boaz? I already said that. She went from welfare to marrying a man that loves God and a man that is wealthy, okay? And Proverbs 31 talks about a virtuous woman and how successful her business is, okay? And so if God did not want us to be wealthy, why did he allow these people to experience wealth? If he did not want us to be wealthy, why in the world would he allow these people to experience wealth? Think about that. This is just in the old covenant. Now, the covenant that we have now is new and better. We have better promises. And so why would God change his mind about that? I don't know. You need to think about your thought process and do some study, okay? That's it for now for tonight. God bless you. Go look all that stuff up. You know, normally I take so much time with these videos. In the past, I would put all the scriptures there and I would give all the little captions and stuff. But you know what? I said, if you really want to study this information, you'll go search it out. Okay? God bless you. Have a good weekend. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment. Share it with someone that may need it. All right? God bless you.